Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here to waste your time. You read the title, you know what this video is going to be about, okay? However, before we get into the actual content of the video, there's a couple things that I need to state first. First of all, I'm going to be collaborating on this video with my boy Kwamir. He's a very successful YouTuber in of himself, and we've been friends for like the majority of high school, okay? So after this video, please go subscribe to him.
Oh man, what's up, chat? As I know, this is not my normal content, but I want to thank my boy Aaron for letting me get the chance to expand my content and letting me get the chance to touch different horizons and come on the channel. So shout out my boy Aaron for that. As y'all can see by the title, what we're gonna be touching on. I know it's y'all first impression of me and stuff, but like I got y'all, bro. I promise, like I got y'all. Like give me a hug, give me a hug. We family now, we family. Give me a hug.
Also, I want to tell you guys how this video is going to be formatted. So I've compiled the majority of Jordan excuses against LeBron James's credibility, and not only am I going to debunk them, but I'm also going to make my own case for why LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time and why he's better than Michael Jordan. The first claim that I have here about Jordan fans saying that he's better than LeBron is that they say he is a better scorer than LeBron. He's not. The only reason why people say this is because Jordan has averaged more points than LeBron during most of his career. Not only does LeBron have more all-time points than Jordan, he also scores on better efficiency than him, which we'll get into more detail later in the video. The only reason why Jordan had more points during games was because he put up more shots than LeBron, and therefore has also missed more shots than LeBron.
So the first topic I want to touch on, LeBron is like 4-6 in finals. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge, I like basketball. I watch basketball here and there. I still need to learn about the game and know about the game, so just know that as where my opinion is coming from. But I want to say that I never understood like why playoffs and finals argument at all, because I feel as though like it's never been a bad thing to go further in the playoffs and still not make it, because it's like you still went that far, if you see what I'm saying. Like Jordan fans believe that like if you get beaten before getting to the finals is better for your legacy than making it to the finals, period, than not making it, period. But at the same time, that doesn't make sense. Like that just doesn't make sense at all. And like when you look at LeBron's 6 final losses, most of it, if not almost all of it, the losses are not his fault at all. Like it wasn't in his position. Like it's not just LeBron, as you could say. Like yeah, we love LeBron, we all love LeBron, but it's not just LeBron. It's a team effort. So at the same time, it's like yeah, you can throw tomatoes. You gotta throw tomatoes at the whole team. You can't just throw tomatoes at LeBron and just blame LeBron. Oh, LeBron did this. It's LeBron's fault just because he's LeBron. Like I know we love LeBron, but you can't just like, even though we love him so much, we can't also just fault him. And if you guys hate him, you guys like gotta realize like it's a team sport at the end of the day. It's not a solo sport, so you can't blame him for the losses that he has came across within his career.
Starting off with the 2007 final, the Cavaliers versus the Spurs. Come on now, bro. Look at these rosters, man. LeBron didn't have a single other teammate that averaged more than 20 points this series. It was an absolute miracle that they even made it this far in the playoffs. Like we said earlier, basketball is a team sport, and you can't win without a solid cast of players around you, especially when you're facing a big three in Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. The 2011 final, Mavericks versus the Heat. This is LeBron's only real bad series in my eyes. He completely underperformed and did terrible to what we know LeBron is capable of. Both Chris Bosh and D Wade outperformed LeBron in this series and could have won if LeBron pulled his weight. And Dirk Nowitzki playing like the best player in the world for this season does not help at all. So you know what? Fair point. This is a blemish on LeBron's legacy. The 2015 final, the Cavs versus the Warriors. You're telling me a man who averaged 36, 13, and 9 is to blame for this finals loss? Kyrie was the only other player to average more than 20 points on this team, by the way. Not only did LeBron average this stat spread, for some reason, Andre Iguodala got Finals MVP for holding LeBron to this stat line. So by all means, if they didn't have Iggy for this series, LeBron could have realistically averaged like 40, 18, and 13. Getting past hypotheticals, however, both Kevin Love and Kyrie were out for the majority of this series, and if they were completely healthy, they would have beaten Golden State. And finally, for the 2017 and 18 Cavaliers versus Warriors series. Bro, look at this starting five, bro. This is not fair at all. There is not another team in NBA's history that is beating this Warriors team at all. Not Jordan's Bulls, not the Kobe and Shaq Lakers, not even the 2014 Spurs is stopping this absolute juggernaut of a team. I'm not going to go into the logistics and history of this Warriors team. There's a lot more insanely well-edited and documented videos on here that you can look at that'll describe how well they actually are. But just know, nobody is beating this team in a 7-game series completely healthy.
Now on to the next. Now I want to explain why LeBron is a better playoff performer than Jordan. Out of 22 years that LeBron has been playing, he's made the playoffs 18 times, which is 81%. Do y'all hear how crazy that is? Let me repeat it for y'all. Out of the 22 years LeBron has been playing, he's made the playoffs 18 times. 22 years, 18 times. That's crazy, bro. 2 out of the 15 years Jordan was playing, he made 13 times, which is 86%. That's also good. I'm not gonna fault him. That's not gonna throw no. That's also good. But who's been more times? Think about it. Like, he has a higher percentage, but who has been more times? Jordan might have went to the playoffs more. However, this is more likely subject to change, a more equal number in the future, since LeBron hasn't made any announcements to retire. So if you're thinking about it, his percentage is higher. Even though his percentage is higher, this is still a topic that's like debatable and that can change at any moment because LeBron hasn't retired yet. So who's to say that he can't go to the playoffs for maybe the next 4 freaking... you never know. He might just play until he's 96. It's LeBron, bro. It's LeBron. You never know with this guy. He might just play till he's 96. So therefore, like, this is a topic that could change. But yeah, we're gonna touch on more of that later. I'm gonna come back with the third topic for y'all.
Anyways, in the first 6 years that Jordan was in the playoffs, the furthest that he got was the conference finals, which he lost, with his best teammates being George Gervin, who is a Hall of Famer and a great scorer at that time, a young Horace Grant, and a young Scottie Pippen. Starting in 1991, he started his three-peat with the Bulls. After the three-peat, he retires for a year and then returns to get another three-peat. Going over his playoff record, Michael Jordan has been eliminated from the first round 3 times, been eliminated from the second round 2 times, been eliminated from the conference finals 2 times, and went to the finals 6 times, and won all of his finals. Jordan has went to the finals 46% of his career and didn't make it there 54% of the time.
In LeBron's first 6 years in the playoffs, he went to the finals his second year. So in his first 6 years in the playoffs, he went to his finals in the second year with the Cleveland team. And let me tell you guys, he did not belong there at all. He did not belong there. I'm not saying he didn't belong there as if he was like a terrible player, but as you could tell, like, your first 6 years, like, he just didn't belong there. Like, it's fresh, it's new. Let me also remind you guys, he also went to the finals with the Heat with the big 3, Bosh, D-Wade, and himself. At the Heat, he went to the finals 4 times, winning back-to-back titles. After the Heat, he went back to Cleveland to team up with Kyrie and managed to beat the Warriors in one of the biggest series, like the biggest series. Then after that, he left for the Lakers and managed to win the NBA bubble championship, which was a hard time for a bunch of different players. And it was way different. It was way more to adapt to. There's something that the NBA haven't seen before. Ever since then, however, he just managed to get into the playoffs and not do all too well. Like, ever since that, like, he's gotten to the playoffs, but he just hasn't done what he's done before. Even though he hasn't done what he has before in his greatest performances back, we can't fault him. I feel like people still, just because he's not doing that now, so we're not even gonna remember when he did do that. So it's like, bro, if I give you $1 million right now, right, and then 2 weeks later I can't give you $1 million, am I still not a giving person, a generous person? Like, I did that before. You can't decredit me when I did that before. If that's what I'm trying to say, like, you can't decredit him for that. But yeah, LeBron has been eliminated from the first round 3 times, which is 17%. He's been eliminated from the second round 3 times, also 17%. He's been eliminated from the conference finals 2 times, which is 11%. He went to the finals 10 times, 10 times, which is 56%. He won 4 times, which is 40%. And LeBron has made the finals 56% of his career. So that's over half of his career. And didn't make it there 45% of his career. So he has a greater percentage of his career that he made it than he didn't make it. Just let that sink in. Simply put, having LeBron on your team, you just have a greater chance at making the playoffs. He's made it 56% of his career. LeBron making it to the playoffs percentage is way higher than Jordan making it to the playoffs percentage. All of Jordan's first round matches in the playoffs had 3 games. He only had 3 games. It was just an easier time back then. Let's also not even throw that in there. Let's just think about the competition that's in these playoffs and the skill level that these players have developed. As the NBA progresses and grows as a whole, you realize the skill and players are getting great. Think about Ja Morant back in the 80s. They was not stopping Ja Morant back in the... But anyways, Jordan's first round matches in playoffs, he had 3 games. Whereas LeBron's first round matches were 4 games. You could realistically say that Jordan had an easier and shorter series than LeBron. Think about it. 3 games versus 5. Imagine playing 3 games. Imagine playing 5 games. 4 games. You have an easier time playing 3 games, right? But at the same time, you could argue that Jordan could have made more comebacks and gotten farther in the playoffs if he had 4 games, because you have a great chance at coming back and maybe showing yourself because you have an extra game. So you could argue that. I wouldn't just say this is like a huge topic to throw out, but if Jordan was given an extra game, he could have came back. But let's also still remember that he played 3 games versus playing 5 games. So, like, it's a little big, it's a difference there.
LeBron also contributes more in the playoffs as well. These are LeBron and Jordan's all-time playoff stat averages, and I've highlighted the better stats between the two players. Not only does LeBron have the majority of the stats like more rebounds, assists, blocks, etc., but he also has the higher efficiency between the two players. LeBron might have less points, but his efficiency on his shots are still much better than Jordan's.
Jordan won his titles with only the Bulls and didn't move to other teams. So before I get into anything else on that topic, I'm going to say that to adapt to teams and to go in and make yourself or work yourself into a roster that's already been built, it takes a lot more than a person who's just staying on one team. So think about it. It's like kind of like changing schools in a way. When you grow up with everybody. So everybody starts forming their friend groups and stuff. You probably grew up with these kids since pre-K, so everybody already knows everybody. You already have your friend group. But when you transfer schools, now you really gotta join clubs. You gotta do the most basically just to find a spot to either fit in or find a spot to, find your new friend group and stuff. Let's just use that as an example. But let me continue. Jordan didn't have to move to other teams. He didn't have to. His team was built around him. Ever since he got Scottie Pippen in 1989 and slowly had a good cast of players built around him, like Rodman and Steve Kerr, he never had to go anywhere to get a good team. He was already on his team that was built around him. So he didn't have to develop. He didn't have to move accordingly. He didn't have to prove his point because he was already on the team that his point was proven on. In the years of 1985 to 1988, Jordan got beat in either the first round or the second round because he didn't have the right talent around him in order to go far. LeBron would have never got beat that fast. Just saying. I'm just saying. No glaze. I'm just saying. He wouldn't have got beat that fast because he's proven even without a team or going to a new team, he can still do this. He's still the same LeBron. He's still LeBron. But with Jordan, until he got the star players in the team built around him, he was fumbling the bag. Let's be honest. He was really fumbling the bag. Now, I'm not saying that this is his fault because obviously basketball is a team sport. However, LeBron taking both 2007 and 2018 Cavaliers to the finals, the only good player on that team was LeBron, speaks volumes to how much and more impactful he is to his teams. For a bonus part, Jordan couldn't do with other teams. Let's say it. Like Jordan, think about moving Jordan to another team. He just wouldn't fit. He wouldn't be the Jordan we know today. It just wouldn't work. When he was at the Wizards at 38 at the end of his career, he wasn't going to the playoffs. He didn't. But you know who went to the playoffs at 38 and made it to the conference finals? Averaging 25, 10, 7. LeBron! Come on, boy. LeBron. Yeah, he did that. Couldn't be Jordan.
Another argument that I hear from Jordan fans to say that he's better than LeBron is that he's faced harder competition in his career and he played in a more difficult era. First of all, let me just say this. LeBron definitely faced much harder and skilled players in his career compared to Jordan. For one, he's played in much more competition along with playing in more eras of basketball. Adding on to this point, LeBron has faced more MVPs and more future Hall of Famers that had much stronger teams than the ones Jordan faced. It's also just an evolutionary thing. Like my boy Kwame said, people develop new ways to play basketball and the sport will always get more innovative and slowly transform over time. That's just how the growth of the game works. Hell, maybe 30 years from now, we might be going back to say that LeBron didn't face proper competition back then, the same way we talk about Jordan now. But let's dissect the competition that Jordan faced during his playoff runs that he won his championships. I think it's only fair that we dive deep into Jordan's playoff runs that he won because you'll always hear Jordan fans criticizing LeBron's runs in the playoffs, whether it was a weak East or he faced inexperienced teams that made the finals or just went really far in the playoffs. Starting off with the 1991 championship versus the Lakers. In the first round, he played against the Knicks where he swept in old Maurice Cheeks and prime Patrick Ewing. In the second round versus the 76ers, he faced Charles Barkley and a bunch of terrible role players and Manute Bol. Separating Manute Bol from the scrubs has nothing to do with the actual series, but I just wanted to remind you guys that Manute Bol was a basketball player that exists. In the third round versus the Pistons, he actually beat a very solid team after being beaten by them 3 years in a row, in 1988, 1989, and 1990. And in the finals versus the Lakers, he beat Magic Johnson, who contracted HIV that same year, and Byron Scott and James Worthy missed a game because they got injured during that series. The 1992 championship versus the Trailblazers. In the first round versus the Heat, this Heat team sucks ass. The only player that had over 20 points was Ronnie Sakali. Even Scottie Pippen outscored the Heat, and he wasn't even the Bulls' main scorer. The second round versus the Knicks, again, they faced an old Maurice Cheeks and Patrick Ewing, with Ewing being the only person averaging over 20 points for the Knicks. In the third round versus the Cavs, again, this Cavs team suck ass, with Mark Prince being the best player on this team, giving them 19, and again, Scottie Pippen outscored all the players here. And in the finals versus the Trailblazers, they faced against Clyde Drexler and a bunch of really bad role players, whose second best player, Terry Porter, had 8 less points than him. For the 1993 championship versus the Suns, in the first round versus the Hawks, he faced Dominique Wilkins, Kevin Willis, and a really bad supporting cast. In the second round versus the Cavs, yeah, the Cavaliers still suck. Larry Nance was the best player in this series, giving 17 points, with Brad Daugherty giving 16 points. This is also another series where Scottie Pippen outscored the best players on the other team. In the third round versus the Knicks, Patrick Ewing and friends again without Maurice Cheeks. And in the finals versus the Suns, he beat Charles Barkley, Kevin Johnson, and Dan Marley. So an all-star and some damn role players. Phenomenal. The 1996 championship versus the Supersonics, and the first round versus the Heat. Spoiler alert, yeah, the Heat still sucks. They might have gotten Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway, but that's just simply not enough. There was another player on that team that averaged more than 10 points other than those two players during this series. In the second round versus the Knicks, just like last year with an aging Patrick Ewing, this team was not cut out to beat the Bulls at all. Ewing giving 23, 11, and 1 during this series, and no one else contributing anything. In the third round versus the Magic, they faced an inexperienced Magic team with young stars in Shaq and Penny Hardaway, who did put up strong numbers, but they really had no depth surrounding them. And the finals versus the Supersonics, they faced Sean Kemp and Gary Payton. And you know what? I have nothing to hold against the Bulls during this series. Both teams had very strong squads and played well. It's just that the Bulls were the better team in this series. You can argue that the coach didn't put Gary Payton on Jordan for the majority of the series, but that's honestly just semantics. I'm not counting that. In the 1997 series versus the Jazz, in the first round, they played the Bullets, and he faced against Rod Strickland and Juwan Howard. I think that speaks for itself. Second round versus the Hawks, he faced an old declining Dikembe Mutombo with Mookie Bailook and Steve Smith. Speaks for itself again. Third round versus the Heat, he faces an old aging Tim Hardaway with supporting cast in Alonzo Mourning and Jamal Mashburn. And the final against the Jazz, he faces a 33-year-old Karl Malone, a 34-year-old John Stockton, and a 33-year-old Jeff Hornacek with a lackluster supporting cast. Yeah. And finally, the 1998 championship versus the Jazz. In the first round versus the Nets, yeah, the Nets still sucked, with their main players being Sherman Douglas, Kerry Kittles, and Chris Gatling. I'll just show a graphic of them right here. This is their stats during this series. That just speaks for itself. The second round versus Charlotte, they faced Glenn Rice along with a bad bench and a second star in Anthony Mason, who scored 10 whole less points than Glenn during this series. In the third round versus the Pacers, they faced an aging Reggie Miller, Rich Smith, and Mark Jackson, who couldn't put up more than 20 points during this whole series. And in the final versus the Jazz, same thing as last year, they face an aging Karl Malone, John Stockton, and Jeff Hornacek, who's even older this time, and also Karl Malone was the only person who averaged more than 20 points during this series, 25 to be specific. And the second most on his team was Jeff Hornacek with 11 points.
I'm going to give you guys an argument on why LeBron is better, okay? So, first point, he's the all-time leading scorer at time of recording, and he's leading scorer in the playoffs. He's also fourth all-time in assists. Think about it, it's LeBron, bro. Like, he's the GOAT. He only got to pass the ball. He don't need to pass the ball. It's LeBron. He don't need to pass the ball. It's LeBron, bro. So, think about it. For him to be fourth in assist, who's topping, bro? Anyways, next point. He's done a lot more in the playoffs with worse teammates. 2007 finals and 2018 finals. That's just showing he doesn't need nobody. Like, he don't need Scottie Pippen to go out and get crazy repossessions and crazy steals from him. Nah, he don't need that. He got himself. He's a one-man army. Even though he has a team, he don't need his team, basically. He hasn't had a game where he scored less than 10 points in 18 years. In 18 years, he has not had a game where he sat and thought, let me just chill and let my teammates do something. No, he went out there and hustled every time for the past 18 years. What does that show? Greatness. He also has more than 50-point games than single-digit scoring games. Bro has scored 50 plus more than he has scored under 10. That's insane. Come on, bro. Every time I place parlays now on any other team, I put them from over 10 and bro could barely hit 8.5. But LeBron? Nah, that's not gonna happen with LeBron. Next one. He has the most amount of 30-point games than any other player. So it means he scored 30 more than anybody else in the league. Anybody in the league, bro. Even when we got crazy players now like Shy, who's getting crazy fouls every time you look at bro, he's getting fouled. For LeBron to have 30-point games, it's whatever, bro. And he can pass the eye test, watching only his highlights to determine if he's good, which he passes in the flying colors. You can search the LeBron highlights, and you're just going to see greatness, basically. You're really just going to see greatness. He has some of the most ridiculous highlights, from scoring in clutch moments to chase down blocks to having a bag to amazing passes to his insane athleticism. He has it all. Any LeBron highlight video is going to show you, like, it's going to make you want to hop on the court and get better. That's how good LeBron is. He's just the type of player. He's going to make you want to hop on the court and get better.
LeBron makes every team that he's a part of better. And to prove this, whenever he leaves a team, they become much worse. The Cavs in 2009 and 10 with LeBron, they went 61 and 21. The Cavs in 2010 and 11 without LeBron, they went 19 and 63. The Miami Heat in the 2013-2014 season with LeBron, they went 54 and 28. And the Miami Heat in 2014-2015 without LeBron, they went 34 and 45. And the Cavs in 2017 and 2018 with LeBron, they went 50 and 32. And the Cavs in 2018-2019 without LeBron, they went 19 and 63. He can play any position and be a top 5 player in that position. You want him to play the point? Guess what? He's one of the best passers of all time, being the 4th leading player in assists. You want him to play shooting guard? He's the all-time leading scorer, and he has a 55% 2-point field goal percentage and a 35% 3-point field goal percentage. You want to play small forward? That's self-evident. He's been playing small forward like 90% of his career. You want him to play power forward? He's 25th all-time in rebounds, which doesn't sound impressive until you realize he's the only non-center or power forward in that 25 players. And if you want him to play center, he stands at 6'9", 250 pounds. He can guard and score on any other center that you put in front of him. The bottom line is that LeBron James can do anything that is needed from him to help his team. And for my final stat or reason why LeBron James is the best basketball player of all time is that his longevity is quite literally unmatched. Since turning 40 years old, LeBron has averaged 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists, with a field goal percentage of 54% and a 3-point percentage of 42%. Up until the time of recording, he's played 28 games and has won 19 of those games, averaging to about a win rate of 68%. Some very notable games where he has played were Golden State in February when he got 42 points, 17 rebounds, and 8 assists. He played Portland and got 38 points, 3 rebounds, and 8 assists. And when he played the Timberwolves, putting up 33 points, 17 rebounds, and 6 assists. He can give you MVP/All-Star caliber stats while being that goddamn old. So I want to make something very clear before I end this video off. I am not trying to discredit Michael Jordan in any sort of way. He is a top 3, top 2 greatest player in the history of the NBA. And I'm not trying to discredit any of his achievements and all of his accomplishments at all, or even his competition that he's played against. I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tell you guys that LeBron is, 1, he's the overall better player in almost every single aspect of basketball, and 2, he just has way more better accomplishments and better feats in my personal opinion. Again, not putting him down, not putting any of these players down right now, but I just wanted to let you guys know that LeBron has done a lot more with a lot less in his career. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed it so much. Please go subscribe to Kwamia's channel when you guys have the chance. But yeah, I hope you guys learned a lot from this video, and yeah, that's about it. Y'all take care.